they say a life, it isn't measured in years, but in moments. And not just the big cinematic ones, It's the quiet, fleeting instances, the ones that land so softly in your memory and, well, without you even realizing it, they change the very texture of who you are. My story, like yours, is really just a collection of these moments, a mosaic of light and shadow. And it begins, as most do, I suppose, in the simple, sun-drenched days of childhood. I remember the smell of summer rain on hot asphalt, the feeling of my small hand just lost inside my father's. But the memory that really holds the key is a jar of fireflies. I must have been, 7 or 8? On this humid evening with the crickets singing, I was just running through the tall grass, my bare feet damp with dew, and catching those flickering lights one by one. I'd screw the lid on tight. I'd poked holes in the top, of course, and I would just watch. I was mesmerized by their silent, brilliant conversation. In that jar, I felt like I held a universe, a captured piece of magic. It was a perfect moment, and I wanted to keep it forever. But, by morning, their lights had dimmed. Their magic was gone. And I think I learned my first gentle lesson from the universe right then, that some things are not meant to be held, only experienced. Their beauty is in their freedom, in their fleetingness. It's strange, isn't it? How the biggest truths are often found in the smallest of things. Then came the teenage years, the sun-drenched fields of childhood. They gave way to a landscape of confusing shadows and jagged peaks. The world wasn't a firefly in a jar anymore. It was a mirror, and for a long, long time, I didn't like the reflection I saw. I remember the paralyzing fear of just not being enough, not smart enough, not popular enough, not anything enough. So I built walls around myself, brick by brick, with sarcasm and indifference. My biggest failure, looking back, wasn't on an exam or in a game. It was the failure to ask for help, the failure to admit I was lost. It was a cold, lonely fortress I'd built. But eventually, a crack appeared. A teacher who saw past the walls, a friend who just refused to walk away. And that's when I learned that the weight I was carrying, it wasn't a burden I had to bear alone. My strength wasn't in the walls I built to keep people out, but in the courage it took to finally let someone in. The real turning point, though, came in my mid-20s. I had followed the map. I had done everything I was supposed to do. I landed a good job, a respectable career path laid out before me like a pristine, freshly paved road. But the further I walked down that road, the more I felt like a ghost. My soul was just starving. The turning point wasn't some dramatic event, but a quiet, terrifying realization one Tuesday morning, staring at a spreadsheet. This is not my life. That evening, I drove to the coast and just watched the ocean. The waves, they didn't care about my career path. The sunset didn't ask for my 5-year plan. And in that vast, beautiful indifference, I found my freedom. I went back and I quit. I had no plan, no safety net, just a burning whisper inside me that said, there is another way. It was the most reckless and the most sane thing I have ever done. I learned that sometimes you have to get completely and utterly lost to find out where you're truly meant to be. And that brings me to now, to this moment. When I look back, I don't see a straight line. I see a winding path. I see the little boy with his jar, the teenager with his walls, the young man who threw away the map. They're all me. And I'm grateful for all of them. For the joy, for the pain, the confusion, the clarity. My philosophy, if you can even call it that, is simple. Embrace the texture of your journey. Don't rush to the destination. Feel the warmth of the sun and the sting of the wind. Acknowledge your scars. They're proof that you have lived, that you have healed. And forgive yourself for the times you got lost. Life isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about collecting moments, not to keep them in a jar, but to let them illuminate your path, one flickering light at a time. So, as you walk your own path, remember to pause. Look back not with regret, but with understanding. Look forward not with fear, but with hope. Because every step, every scar, every laugh is part of the beautiful, messy, incredible story that is uniquely and wonderfully you.